Did you know that the mighty Ottoman Empire, a civilization that once ruled 3 continents, began with nothing more than a small band of nomadic tribes? What if you could witness the birth of that empire, its golden age of unrivaled power, and finally its long and painful fall? This is not just the story of sultans and battles. It's a story of ambition, betrayal, innovation, and mystery. Welcome to the untold stories of the Ottoman Empire, an empire that shaped history, yet remains hidden behind the curtains of time. In the 13th century, Anatolia was a land of chaos. The mighty Seljuk Empire was crumbling under pressure from Mongol invasions, and Byzantine rule was waning. Amid this power vacuum, a small Turkic tribal leader named Osman, son of Ertugrul, emerged from the shadows. He had no palace, no army, no crown, just belief. Belief in a dream of building a lasting realm. The tribe, known as the Kayi, were horsemen, skilled archers, and devout Muslims. Osman united nearby tribes and carved out territory from a weakening Byzantine empire. He called it the Ottoman Beylik. Fun fact, the name Ottoman comes from Osman, Uthman in Arabic. But it wasn't just sword and blood. Osman's rise relied on diplomacy, marriage alliances, and calculated raids. The world had yet to realize a storm was coming. The Ottomans didn't just expand, they absorbed culture, language, architecture, technology. Osman's son, Orhan, and then Murad I, extended the empire into the Balkans, defeating Christian armies in Kosovo and Serbia. But it was Mehmed II, Mehmed the Conqueror, who would change history forever. In 1453, he did what seemed impossible. He captured Constantinople, the crown jewel of the Byzantine Empire, using massive cannons and a brilliant naval trick. Hauling ships over land to bypass a blockade, he renamed it Istanbul, and it became the beating heart of the Ottoman world. The empire now straddled Europe, Asia, and Africa. It had become a global superpower. Give me Constantinople, and I will give you an empire that never sleeps. Mehmed II. The height of Ottoman power came under Suleiman the Magnificent, who ruled from 1520 to 1566. Suleiman wasn't just a warrior. He was a poet, a reformer, and a lawgiver. His empire stretched from Hungary to Yemen, from Algeria to Iraq. The Ottomans controlled trade routes, built majestic mosques, and established one of the most sophisticated legal systems of their time. But behind the grandeur were quiet tensions. The empire was built not just on strength, but on slavery, religious hierarchy, and strict social codes. Even the legendary Janissaries, the elite soldiers taken as children through the Devshirme system, were both feared and admired. Did you know? Some Janissaries rose to become viziers, the second most powerful men after the Sultan. Suleiman's court was also home to intrigue. His wife, Hurrem Sultan, also known as Roxolana, broke tradition by marrying him, a scandal at the time. She became one of the most powerful women in Ottoman history. After Suleiman's death, the empire slowly began to unravel. Not all at once, but piece by piece. The problem wasn't outside, it was within. Sultans became figureheads, while corrupt advisors and palace elites controlled decisions. Infighting became common. Brothers were locked in cages, the infamous conquests system, to prevent rebellions. But isolation drove many heirs mad. The once mighty Janissaries, now politically powerful, resisted reform and became a threat to the state itself. European naval powers dominated global trade. Scientific advancements are leaving the Ottomans behind. A bureaucracy that bloated and decayed. And yet, the empire endured for centuries more. That is the mystery of the Ottomans, how they survived so many fatal wounds. By the 19th century, the Ottomans were called the sick man of Europe. One province after another slipped away. Greece, Egypt, Bulgaria, gone. Rebellions flared. European powers carved out Ottoman lands under the guise of treaties and protection. And then came World War I. Alliances with Germany dragged the empire into a war it couldn't win. In 1918, the Ottomans surrendered. In 1922, the Sultanate was abolished. And in 1923, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk declared the birth of modern Turkey. The 600-year empire was no more. But the Ottomans didn't vanish. Their legacy lingers. Their architecture defines cities from Sarajevo to Cairo. Their laws influenced modern systems in Turkey and beyond. Their calligraphy, music, and cuisine still echo through generations. But so do their untold stories of palace conspiracies and forgotten princesses, of enslaved children who rose to become generals, of ethnic coexistence and ethnic cleansing, of how East and West collided and coexisted. How did a nomadic tribe become the longest-lasting Islamic empire in history? The answer is not simple. It's a tapestry woven with blood, brilliance, betrayal, and belief. The Ottoman Empire was not perfect. No empire is, but it was vast, complex, and very human. An empire that lasted 6 centuries deserves to be more than a footnote in history books. If you enjoyed this journey through time, like, subscribe, and tell us. What surprised you the most about the Ottomans? There's so much more to explore, and history is far from over.